Today we're checking out Cambridge and MIT. Yesterday it was pretty rainy, so I spent the day inside and just caught up on the online stuff. But today we're seeing the city. I feel so well rested. It's quite a pleasure to be able to sleep on a couch in an apartment and not have to, like, I think when I'm sleeping in the car there's always a bit of anxiety and unrest because I'm always thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow. Am I safe where I'm parked? Do I need to watch out for people like knocking on the window, cops coming in, kicking me out or something like that? How am I gonna figure out the morning? And so it's been really great to have a really good rest in an apartment, and Lucy has fed me so well. I don't think I've had such a contrast between eating so poorly and then eating so well. So this is the only Corbusier project in America, and it's a gallery, but it's closed and doesn't open till noon. And that's the second place I've gone to today that doesn't open early. I was trying to go to a used bookstore too, and it doesn't open till 11. And I was there at 9:30, and now it's 10. So I'll have to come back to this in 2 hours. So just gonna, I guess, walk around. I might walk to the other part of Harvard campus and then walk back here. Even from the exterior, it's a pretty cool building, and I quite like it. It's quite different from the Corbusier project I saw in Zurich, which is understandable because that was a steel building and this one's concrete. I have found a way to kill time by going to the Harvard Art Museums, which is free for students. So it's gonna be good. Building, and the stairwell is quite nice because it's got wood panels on one side and board and concrete on the other. I feel like Corb stairs are always pretty nice. Well, that was cool. There's not a whole lot of the building you can see because it's still a school, but there's two galleries, and I was able to walk through the stairwell, which was quite cool. and yeah, even from the outside it's pretty cool. So nice building. I continued my tour of Cambridge architecture by visiting some other significant projects in the area. And it just smacks you in the face. I don't have much from that night, but I met up with Zach and we went out drinking with some friends. And then went to bed at 3 a.m. Yeah! But the next morning was a Saturday, and Lucy and I had plans to go tour around downtown Boston. So we had some coffee and headed out. Architecture! Is Boston City Hall the famous brutalist building, the famous city hall for being so brutalist, or is that a different American city?
I mean, I would not deny that Boston is well known for its like, city hall being brutalist. That is an architectural moment if I ever saw one. The light's really pretty.
Oh, look at that reflection.
No, I was just...
Beautiful. All right, just said goodbye to Lucy and it's time to head towards Toronto. I think I'm gonna try and take 2 days to get there. Probably stay in upstate New York tonight, but I'm gonna try and drive kind of slow and just, you know, see what comes by, do what comes by. Kind of sad to be leaving Boston. I really enjoyed Boston. It's a nice city. It's not a big city, but it was also the first time in 2 months that I had like a domestic life. Like I could sleep without any anxiety or apprehension about what I was doing tomorrow or where I was going tomorrow or if someone might knock on the window during the night. And Lucy took really good care of me. She fed me really well, and we cooked. We cooked. We didn't eat out at all. We just cooked, and so that was a really nice change that it was really welcome, because I've been traveling for 2 months in this car, and before that I was in Europe for 2 months. So it was really nice to have a bit of a domestic life for a bit. But I get 2 more days to get back to Toronto, and so this is kind of like the last 2 days of really enjoying the road trip, the road trip life, and so I'm gonna try and make the best of it. I'm almost out of Massachusetts. Just been driving the whole time, haven't seen anything to stop at, or really, yeah, it's been kind of boring. Haven't seen any points of interest or anything on Highway 2 and 2A. Finally got to I'm at the like upper northwest corner of the state, almost out of the state, but I finally found a place to like stretch my legs. Alright, that last trail was pretty boring, but this one promises to be better. This is Natural Bridge State Park, and it's got a cool looking gorgey area with some cool rocks, and I think there's an arch in the rocks. I think that's why it's called Natural Bridge. But yeah, it should be better, so let's go take a look. Well, that's kind of cool, but too bad there's not much else to see. Would be nice if there were more trails to walk around and more viewpoints, but doesn't look like it, so the drive continues. I was really annoyed that there was nowhere to stop on the side of the road when I found some interesting scenery. Oh man, tonight is the last night camping in the car. It's kind of wild to think that tomorrow I'll be back in Toronto. I left more than 2 months ago. I left more than 2 months ago. Went through Quebec, went through New Brunswick, PEI, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, Labrador, came down Maine to Boston, and now I'm heading back. I drove across all of Maine and most of New York today. There really wasn't much to see, and I was quite annoyed with the scenic byways at the end of the day in New York, because I was like, wow, this is a great sunset, and then there was nowhere to pull off. And then, well, there was this one parking area for like semi truck drivers to stop, but it wasn't scenic. It was at the top of the hill, but there was picnic tables in a grassy area, but there was no scenery to the valley below. So I was pretty unhappy with that. But yeah, most of today was driving, and I'm happy to spend the last night in the car camping. I really do enjoy this kind of life, but at the same time, I'd really like to have a place of my own. I'd like to have a home base. Like I feel like I could travel this way for another year. I'd be more than happy in the summer or the spring to go across Canada and go down through America, spend like 6 months traveling around the Americas, or maybe a whole year. Be more than happy, but I would not want to do it continuously. I would want to do it in portions, in like 2 month portions, or like or even maybe not, but just to have a place to go back to. Like, I'd really like to have a home to go back to, and a place that I can like reset, recover, spend some time. Now that this trip is a day away from really ending, it's kind of coming to me that like I need to really appreciate this last night camping and enjoy the drive. I did enjoy driving and just thinking and dreaming, listening to some audiobooks. But yeah, it's as soon as the trip ends, you start to wish it was longer, and you wish you could go more places and go further. I guess the good part is I have tomorrow morning to do some sightseeing in New York State before I drive up into Canada, and in a couple days I'm going to fly to Vancouver for about 3 weeks, and so that'll be a new adventure. It'll be a different trip, different kind of trip too, but it'll be good. It'll be good. It'll be something different, something new. Going back home for a bit. But yeah, I'm gonna have dinner and just kind of spend one last night under the stars in the back of the Element and make the most of it. Pretty cool way to wake up in the morning. Delphi Falls, and I think I have one more waterfall to see and a gorge. So this last bit of touring in New York should be a good one. All right, welcome to Watkins Glen State Park, where there's a nice gorge and some waterfalls. Took a wrong turn and drove through Cornell by accident, so saw that, and then was gonna stop at Buttermilk Waterfall near Cornell, but then you had to pay for parking, so I was like, nope, I'm out. Here I got free street parking right beside the lot that has $10 parking, so hopefully it should be fine. And now we're gonna see some cool gorges. It's about a mile through the gorge, and then there's a half-mile trail to an upper entrance that I didn't do. But I figured sun's coming out, rain's kind of stopped, might as well walk the gorge back, because there's a rim trail on either side of the gorge, but I don't think there's going to be any views. I think that's just in the forest. So I'm going back down. All right, breakfast was good. Waitress forgot to put my order in and then came by and then tried to give me $5 or put $5 on the table, and I was like, don't worry about it. Wasn't the biggest breakfast, but it was still good. And then I decided to get a slice of homemade apple crumble to go. Whole thing with tip was $13.25, so pretty happy with that. I was gonna make one more stop in the US, one more state park that looked really scenic, but it has a toll booth. It has a toll to get in, but more importantly, I realized that it's already almost it's like 1:30 or 2, and I need to get to Barrie for dinner or like just after dinner. So I have 5 to 6 hours driving ahead of me, so I actually have to go I just have to go straight to the border, which is fine. I'm happy with my New York experience, and yeah, happy with my trip. It's wild to think that it's hours from being over, and I don't really like that part anymore. But it is what it is, and there's another trip coming up, so time to make some miles on the road. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to help grow the channel.